Mei lived in a small, lively village in ancient China. She was a very good medicine maker, mostly. She knew exactly which green leaves fixed a sick tummy, and which brown roots helped a person sleep well at night. But Mei was also very, very clumsy. If there was a bucket of water on the floor, she would surely step right into it. If there was a neat pile of dried flowers on her table, she would sneeze and blow them all away. Her absolute best friend in the whole world was a duck named Bao. Bao was fat, perfectly white, and very loud. He followed her everywhere she went, waddling behind her with happy quacks. Mei loved him very much, even though he had a bad habit of biting the toes of the people who came into her little shop. One bright sunny morning, the village was very loud and busy. The great royal guard was passing through town. Everyone was excited to see them. The guards wore shiny metal armor and carried big, sharp swords. The leader of all the guards was General Liang. He was very tall, very handsome, and very, very grumpy. He never smiled. Not even once. He always walked around looking like he had just eaten a very sour lemon. Mei was inside her shop, mixing a special tea for the village boss. It was supposed to be a sweet honey tea to make him happy and relaxed. But Mei was busy looking out the window at the tall guards. She was not watching her hands at all. Instead of picking up the sweet honey leaf, she grabbed the bright pink, love-struck root. This root was very dangerous. It made you fall madly in love with the very first thing you saw. Mei dropped the pink root into the big hot pot of tea. The water bubbled and turned a lovely, bright shade of purple. She smiled, thinking she had done a great job. She poured a hot cup and went outside to give it to the village boss. But as soon as she walked out her front door, she tripped over a loose rock in the dirt. The cup flew high into the air. Hot purple tea splashed everywhere. General Liang was walking by at that exact moment. The purple tea splashed right onto his face, and a little bit went right into his open mouth. He coughed loudly and wiped his eyes. "What is the meaning of this?" he yelled, looking very angry. Mei froze in place. She knew exactly what she had done. She knew all about the pink root. General Liang blinked. The deep anger left his face in a flash. His dark eyes went soft and wide. He looked down toward the ground. He did not look at Mei. He looked right past her legs. Bao the duck waddled forward and gave a loud happy quack. General Liang fell right to his knees in the dirt. He put his hands together over his heart and looked at the fat white duck with pure, deep love. "Oh, beautiful bird," the big, scary general whispered softly. "I have never seen such lovely white feathers. Will you be mine forever?" Bao bit the general's finger. General Liang just sighed a happy sigh. "Oh, Spekisikish. I am the luckiest man alive." Mei slapped her hand over her face. She had to fix this fast. Chapter 1. The Duck's Demand. General Liang was still on his knees in the dirt, looking at the fat white duck like it was the most beautiful thing in the whole world. Mei stood frozen. She looked at the general, then at the hot purple tea soaking into the ground, and then at Bao. She had to think fast. The pink root magic was very strong. If she did not fix this, the general would try to marry her pet bird. General, sir," Mei said softly. The general did not even look up. "Hush, clumsy girl," he said, waving his hand at her. "Can you not see I am talking to my true love? Look at his perfect, orange little feet. Look at his sweet, round belly." Bao gave a loud angry quack and flapped his wings. "Oh, his voice is like sweet music," the general sighed, putting a hand over his heart. Mei knew from her old medicine books that the only cure for the pink root was a rare flower called the blue lotus. But the blue lotus only grew at the very top of the tall mountain, a few days away from the village. She had to trick the general into going there with her. "General," Mei said, speaking a little louder, "I must tell you something about this duck. His name is Bao, and he is very, very picky." General Liang finally looked up at her. "Picky? My sweet bird deserves the best of everything. What does he want? I will give him gold. I will give him a castle." "He does not want gold," Mei lied, trying to look very serious. "Bao only eats one thing for his special treat. It is the blue lotus flower. It only grows on the tall mountain. If he does not get it, he will be very sad." General Liang gasped. He looked down at Bao with wide, worried eyes. "Oh no, we cannot have you being sad, my beautiful boy." The general quickly stood up. He unclipped his shiny sword belt and handed it to one of his confused guards. Then he took off his very expensive, dark red silk scarf. Gently, He wrapped the soft red silk right around Bao's fat belly, holding the duck close to his chest like a baby. Bao did not like this at all. He wiggled and bit the fancy scarf. There, my love, General Liang said softly. I will keep you warm for the trip. We are going to the tall mountain to get your flower. The general looked at May. His face went back to being very grumpy. He pointed at her. You know the way. You will carry the bags and show us where to go. And please try not to trip. You will scare the duck. May just nodded, grabbing her walking stick and a heavy bag. It was going to be a very long trip. Chapter 2. The Bumpy Road. The sun was shining high in the bright blue sky as they left the small village. All the village people stood by the side of the dirt road to watch them go. They were very quiet. It was a very strange sight to see. The big, scary General Liang was walking first, holding a fat white duck wrapped tightly in a red silk scarf. Behind him walked May, the little medicine maker, carrying a huge bag on her back that clanked loudly with heavy pots and pans. General Liang did not care that people were watching him. He only cared about Bao. As they walked away from the houses and into the green woods, the general spoke to the duck in a soft, sweet voice. Do not worry, my fluffy prince, he whispered, gently petting the duck's head. We will find your special blue flower soon. Then you will be so happy, and you will agree to be my lovely wife. Bao answered with a loud, messy burp and tried to bite a shiny gold button right off the general's coat. Oh, you are so playful. The general laughed happily, kissing the top of the duck's head. May walked behind them, shaking her head. The magic pink root was truly a crazy thing. She fixed the heavy straps of her bag on her shoulders. Inside the bag, she had a big metal pot to boil the water, some dried leaves to make a fire, and thick blankets for the cold night. It was very, very heavy. She was trying hard to watch her feet. The path leading up to the tall mountains was not smooth like the village road. It was full of big rocks, deep holes and thick, twisty tree roots hiding under the dirt. For a whole 10 minutes, May did a very good job. She picked up her feet carefully and did not fall once. But then, a colorful yellow butterfly flew past her nose. May looked up just for a second to watch it fly away. Whack! May's toe hit a huge, thick tree root. She lost her balance and fell forward. She landed right on her tummy in the soft dirt, and all the metal pots inside her bag made a huge, loud crashing noise. Clang! Bang! Smash! Bao the duck jumped in the general's arms and let out a scared, loud quack. General Liang spun around. His face was no longer soft and sweet. He looked at May with his usual, dark, grumpy frown. What are you doing down there? He yelled. Can you not walk on 2 feet like a normal person? Look what you did. You scared the love of my life. May spit a mouthful of dry dirt out of her mouth. She slowly pushed herself up. Her knees hurt, and her dress was covered in brown dust. I am sorry, General, she said softly. The tree root was hiding from me. Tree roots do not hide, Liang said, rolling his dark eyes. He gently rocked the duck back and forth like a baby. Hush now, sweet Bao. The clumsy girl will be more careful. They started walking again. May sighed and dusted off her skirt. She walked slower this time. But the woods kept getting thicker, and the path kept getting worse. Just an hour later, May tried to step over a puddle of mud. Her foot slipped on some wet leaves. She went flying to the side and landed right in a large bush full of sticky green plants. Her pots clanged loudly all over again. Bao quacked in total shock. General Liang stopped, closed his eyes, and let out a very long, very loud sigh. You are truly a danger to my peace and quiet, he grumbled, holding the duck tighter to his chest. If you make my precious bird cry with your loud falling, I will leave you right there in that bush. May pulled a sticky green leaf out of her hair and groaned. It was going to be a very, very long walk to the tall mountain. Chapter 3. The Deep River. After walking through the thick woods for a few more hours, they began to hear a loud, rushing sound. The trees cleared, and they stood at the edge of a wide, deep river. The water was very fast and splashed loudly against big gray rocks. The water was also a very pale blue, which meant it came from the melting snow at the top of the tall mountain. It was freezing cold. There was no bridge to cross the river. The only way to get to the other side was to step on a line of smooth, wet rocks that poked out of the rushing water. May looked at the wet rocks. Then she looked at her heavy bag. She swallowed hard. She knew how clumsy she was on flat dirt. Slippery, wet rocks over freezing water seemed like a very bad idea. General Liang did not look nervous at all. He looked down at Bao, who was still wrapped in the red silk scarf. "Oh, my sweet fluffy prince," the general said softly. "The water is much too angry for your perfect little feet." May blinked. "General, he is a duck," she said. "Ducks love water. He has webbed feet made for swimming. He would be very happy to paddle across the river." General Liang gave May a dark, grumpy glare. "You know nothing about true love, clumsy girl," he said in a strict voice. "My sweet bird is far too delicate for such freezing water. He might catch a cold and sneeze. I will not allow it." May decided it was best not to argue with the magic pink root. She sat down on a dry rock to rest. "I must build him a royal ship," the general announced. He sat bow down on a soft patch of green grass. Then the big tough leader of the royal guard went to work. For 2 whole hours, May sat and watched the general gather thin sticks, dry pieces of wood and long tough grass. He sat on the dirt and tied the sticks together with a very serious look on his face. It was the same look he used when planning a big battle. Bao, meanwhile, waddled over and tried to eat the grass strings the general was using. "No, no, my sweet baby," Liang cooed, gently tapping the duck's beak. "You must wait. Your ship is almost ready." Finally, the tiny wooden boat was done. It was barely big enough for the fat duck. The general tied a long green vine to the front of the boat. He gently placed Bao inside. He planned to walk across the rocks and pull the little boat safely behind him so Bao would not get a single feather wet. The general stepped onto the first rock. His tall boots were very steady. He easily hopped from rock to rock, pulling the duck boat along on the water. Now it was May's turn. She took a deep breath and grabbed the straps of her heavy bag. She stepped onto the first rock. It was okay. She stepped onto the second rock. Not bad. But the third rock was very smooth and covered in wet green moss. As soon as her foot touched it, she slipped. May waved her arms in the air like a windmill, trying to keep her balance. But the heavy pots in her bag pulled her backward. Splash! May fell right into the deep, freezing river. The cold water shocked her, and she gasped loudly. The heavy bag pulled her down toward the bottom. She kicked her feet, fighting the fast water to keep her head up. General Liang heard the splash. He groaned a very loud, very tired groan. Quickly, he tied the duck's vine to a heavy rock on the other side. Then he jumped right into the freezing water. He walked through the rushing river easily, pushing the water away with his strong legs. He reached May in seconds. He grabbed her by the waist with his big hands and lifted her right up out of the water. His grip was so strong, yet he did not hurt her at all. He carried her all the way to the dry dirt on the other side and set her down. May was soaking wet, coughing out water, and shaking from the cold. The general was wet all the way up to his waist. He stood over her and sighed heavily. "You are much more work than a whole army of men," he complained, his voice full of grumpy annoyance. But as he spoke, his strong hands reached out. Very gently, he helped slide the heavy, wet bag off her small shoulders so she could breathe easier. For a tiny second, May felt a warm feeling in her chest that had nothing to do with magic potions. Then the general turned right back around to check on his dry, happy duck. Chapter 4. Finding the Blue Lotus. May sneezed a very loud, very wet sneeze. Achoo! General Liang glared at her from across the dirt path. "Please cover your face. You will give my sweet prince a terrible cold." May shivered in her wet clothes. Her heavy bag felt even heavier now that it was full of river water. The general sighed a grumpy sigh and told her to sit down. Even though he was annoyed, he quickly gathered some dry wood and started a warm, bright fire to help her dry off. He sat on a rock far away from her, holding Bao the duck close to his chest so the bird would stay warm and away from May's sneezing. They rested until May's clothes were mostly dry, and then they started walking again. They walked up and up for 2 more days. The tall mountain got steeper, and the air got very cold. May's legs hurt. Her back hurt. Even her toes hurt inside her shoes. But she did not complain. She just wanted to find the flower, make the cure, and go back to her quiet life. On the 4th day, they finally reached the very top of the tall mountain. It was flat and covered in hard gray rocks and small patches of white snow. The wind blew loudly up here, biting at their cheeks. "We are here," May said, breathing hard and leaning on her walking stick. "The old books say the blue lotus grows in a hidden pool of water at the very peak." "Well, start looking," General Liang said. He pulled his thick coat over Bao to block the chilly wind. "My true love is hungry. We must find his special treat right away." May put her heavy bag down on the ground. She felt so light without it that she almost fell over. She walked around the big gray rocks, looking for any sign of water. For a long time, she only saw cold snow and frozen dirt. She was starting to worry that the old medicine books were wrong. Suddenly, Bao wiggled out of the general's coat. He gave a happy quack and waddled as fast as his flat orange feet could go. He was chasing a tiny shiny bug around a very large, sharp rock. "Bao, come back. It is too cold for you to run," the general called out, running right after the fat duck. May followed them behind the rock. When she looked past the general's tall shoulder, she gasped. Hidden behind the huge rock was a beautiful little pool of water. It was not frozen like the snow. It was a hot spring. Soft white steam rolled off the top of the clear water, making the air around it feel nice and warm. And there, sitting right in the very middle of the steaming water, was a bright, beautiful flower. Its soft petals were the deepest, prettiest blue May had ever seen. It was the rare blue lotus. "We found it," May smiled, feeling a huge wave of happiness wash over her. "Go get it," Liang commanded, holding Bao back so the silly duck would not jump into the hot water. "And please, for once, do not fall in." May knew how clumsy she was, so she did not even try to step on the slippery rocks near the edge. Instead, she found a very long, curved branch on the ground. She leaned over the side, reached out with the stick, and gently hooked the green stem of the blue flower. Slowly and carefully, she pulled it closer and closer until she could reach out and pick it up with her own hand. She held the wet, blue flower up in the air. She had done it. She had the cure. Very soon, the grumpy general would stop treating her loud pet bird like a king, and May could finally go home. Chapter 5, Brewing on the Mountain. The sun was going down fast. The sky changed from bright blue to dark purple, and the cold mountain wind started to blow much harder. May shivered in her thin clothes. She told the general that it was too dark to walk safely back down the mountain. They had to sleep by the hot spring for the night. General Liang did not like that idea at all, but he agreed. He wanted his true love to be safe and warm. The general quickly gathered big pieces of dry wood and started a bright, crackling fire. May opened her heavy bag. She took out her big metal pot and filled it with fresh water from her canteen. She set the pot carefully on some rocks right over the hot orange flames. Very carefully, May dropped the beautiful blue lotus into the water. She sat on the hard dirt and watched the pot. As the water got hotter, it started to bubble and hiss. The deep blue color from the flower petals began to spread. Soon, the whole pot of water was glowing like a bright blue star. It smelled a little bit terrible like old wet socks, but May knew that meant the cure was working just right. While May stirred the smelly blue water with a long wooden spoon, General Liang sat on a thick blanket near the fire. He had Bao the duck resting in his lap. The fat white bird was falling asleep, his head resting on the general's big, strong arm. "When we get back to the big city, my sweet fluffy prince, we will have the biggest wedding in the whole world," the general said in a very soft, very serious voice. "I will invite the king. I will invite all the royal guards. Everyone will cry when they see how beautiful you are." May quickly put her hand over her mouth to stop a loud laugh from coming out. She turned her head away and pretended to cough. The general did not even look at her. He just kept gently petting the duck's white feathers. "What kind of cake would you like, my love? Do you like sweet yellow cake? Or maybe a special cake made of fresh green peas, soft mud, and tiny little fish? Yes, a grand fish cake for my king." Bao made a sleepy soft quack sound and closed his eyes. "And what will you wear?" the general asked, looking up at the dark sky. He was thinking very hard about it. "A tiny gold crown for your perfect little head. And a beautiful cape made of the finest green silk to match the sweet grass you love to chew. I will have 10 strong men walk behind you just to carry the end of your silk cape, so it does not touch the dirty ground." May was biting her lip hard. Her shoulders were shaking because she was trying so hard not to laugh out loud. It was the silliest thing she had ever heard. The big, scary General Liang, the strongest fighter in the land, was sitting by a fire planning a giant fish cake wedding for a loud, messy duck. But as May watched him speak so sweetly, she also felt a tiny ache in her chest. He looked very gentle right now. He was taking such good care of Bao, keeping him safe from the cold wind, even though it was just fake magic from the pink root. The general was showing how much love he really had hidden inside his grumpy heart. May thought that one day, when the spell was gone, the general would make a very good, very kind husband to a real human girl. She stirred the blue water one last time. The special drink is almost ready, General, she called out over the fire. She just hoped he would not be too angry when the magic was gone. Chapter 6. The Broken Spell. The blue water stopped bubbling. The bad smell of old wet socks filled the cold mountain air. May carefully used a thick cloth to hold the hot handle of the pot. She poured the glowing blue tea into a small wooden cup. She took a deep breath. This was it. She walked over to the general. He was still singing a very soft, very silly song about duck feet. General Liang, May said softly. The special drink is ready. Liang looked at the steaming blue cup and wrinkled his nose. That smells terrible, he said. Are you trying to poison me, clumsy girl? My true love needs me alive to plan our big wedding. Oh no, sir, May lied quickly. She put on her best, most serious smile. This is a magic mountain tea. It is very special. It will make you very strong so you can carry your sweet prince all the way back to the city without getting tired. The general's eyes lit up. Strong for my bird? Give it to me. He took the wooden cup from her hands. He held his breath to block out the bad smell, tipped his head back, and drank the whole cup very fast. May took 3 steps backward. She held her breath and waited. General Liang froze. He squeezed his eyes shut tight and shook his head like a dog shaking off water. He blinked hard, once, twice, 3 times. He looked around the dark camp. Then he looked down at his lap. He did not see a beautiful, fluffy prince. He saw a fat, loud, dirty bird sitting on his very expensive coat. The duck had mud on its flat orange feet. The duck was chewing happily on his shiny gold buttons. You, General Liang groaned, his voice deep and rough. He jumped up so fast that Bao the duck rolled right off his lap and landed softly on the grass with a surprised quack. The general looked down at his beautiful red silk scarf. It was covered in duck spit, muddy footprints, and brown dirt. He looked at May, his face turning bright red with anger and deep embarrassment. What did you do to me? He yelled, his grumpy voice back in full force. Why was I holding a bird? Why am I planning a giant fish cake wedding for a loud farm animal? May hid behind her hands. It was an accident. You drank the pink root potion back in the village. It made you fall in love with the first thing you saw, and you saw Bao. The blue tea just broke the spell. The general opened his mouth to yell again, but he just closed it and let out a very loud, very angry sigh. He turned around, wrapped himself in his thick blanket, and went to sleep as far away from the duck as he could. The next morning, the walk down the tall mountain was very different. General Liang did not care about the duck anymore. He did not build any tiny boats. He did not carry Bao. He let the fat duck waddle on the dirt by himself. The general was very quiet, walking right beside May. May was very nervous. She thought he was still very mad at her. She walked fast and did not look at her feet. Suddenly, her shoe caught on a big, sharp rock. She started to fall forward. She closed her eyes, waiting to hit the hard dirt and make her loud pots crash again. But she didn't. A big, strong hand shot out and grabbed her arm, pulling her back up safely. Watch your step, General Liang said softly. He did not let go of her arm right away. Instead of yelling at her for being clumsy, he held out his warm hand. For the rest of the walk down the steep hill, he helped her step over every big rock and twisty root, so she wouldn't trip. May noticed he was looking at her a lot. Not with angry eyes, but with soft, kind eyes. Every time he held her hand to help her jump over a muddy puddle, May felt her cheeks get very hot and bright pink. The magic spell was gone, but something real and sweet was starting. Chapter 7. A Spark in the Woods. The sun went down again, painting the sky with pretty shades of orange and pink. They needed to stop for one last night before reaching May's village. They found a small, quiet space in the woods surrounded by tall trees. General Liang gathered wood and built a warm fire. This time he did not sing silly songs about duck feet. He did not hold a bird like a baby. He was quiet, but it was a very nice, peaceful quiet. Bao the duck was happily eating bugs in the dirt, completely ignoring the general. Liang sat on a flat rock and watched May. She was taking her heavy pots out of her bag. She tried to set them down softly on the ground, but they still made a little clink sound. She froze, bit her lip, and looked at him, waiting for him to yell at her. But Liang did not yell. He just smiled a very small, real smile. You are very loud, clumsy girl, he said. His voice was soft and teasing, not angry at all. May felt a little butterfly flutter in her tummy. She sat across from him by the warm fire, crossing her legs. I try to be quiet, she said, but my hands and feet do not listen to me. Tell me about your medicine, Liang asked. He leaned forward, resting his strong chin on his hand. He looked very interested. How did you learn to fix sick tummies and scraped knees? Mei was surprised he wanted to know. She told him all about her grandmother, who taught her the secrets of the green leaves and brown roots. Then, she felt brave enough to tell a funny story. One time, I tried to make a sleepy tea for the village baker. But I picked the wrong yellow flower, she laughed. Instead of sleeping, the baker stayed awake for 2 whole days. He baked 400 sweet sugar buns. The whole village had stomach aches from eating too much bread. General Liang let out a loud laugh. It was not the high, silly sigh from the magic potion. It was a deep, warm, rumbling sound that filled the quiet woods. It was the best sound Mei had ever heard. Are you ever clumsy, General? Mei asked, smiling at him. Do you ever make funny mistakes? Liang stopped laughing, but a big, warm smile stayed on his face. He poked the fire with a stick. Once, he said softly, when I was a new guard, I had to dress fast for a big royal parade. I was so nervous that I put my shiny metal chest armor on completely backward. I could not bend my arms the whole day. I walked like a stiff wooden toy in front of the king. Mei laughed so hard she had to hold her stomach. The general watched her laugh. He could not stop looking at her. He looked at her messy hair, her rosy cheeks, and her bright, happy eyes. He realized that even though she dropped things and tripped over flat dirt, she was very brave and very kind. She did not complain once on the whole hard, cold trip up the mountain. You have a beautiful smile, Liang said suddenly. His voice was thick and very quiet. Mei stopped laughing. Her breath caught in her throat. Her cheeks got as red as the general's silk scarf. Thank you, she whispered. They sat there for a long time, just looking at each other across the bright fire. There was no pink root in their tea. There was no smelly blue water. There was no magic tricking their brains into feeling things. This sweet, warm spark between them was completely real. As the fire crackled and Bao snored softly in the grass, Mei knew she was falling for the general. And Liang knew he did not want to say goodbye to the clumsy girl. Chapter 8. The Sad Goodbye. The next morning, the sun was very bright, but Mei did not feel bright or happy at all. They packed up their camp and started the short walk back to her village. The woods ended, and the familiar dirt road appeared. Bao the duck gave a loud happy quack, and waddled very fast. He was glad to see his home. But Mei walked slowly. Her heavy bag did not feel heavy today, but her heart felt like a giant rock. General Liang walked slowly too. He kept his hands in his pockets and looked at the dirt road. When they got to the middle of the village, a loud shout broke the quiet morning. General, there he is. Standing right in front of Mei's little medicine shop were 10 royal guards. They were wearing their shiny metal armor and sitting on big, beautiful horses. They looked very worried. One of the guards jumped off his horse and ran up to Liang. General Liang, we have been waiting for 4 days. We were about to look for you in the woods. Where is your sword? Why is your fancy coat so dirty? The guard looked at Mei and then at the fat white duck. He looked very, very confused. General Liang stood up very tall. He put his grumpy face back on, just for the guards. I am fine, he said in a loud, strict voice. I had to go on a special walk to the tall mountain. That is all you need to know. Get the horses ready. We must go back to the big city right now. Mei stopped walking. She looked at the shiny guards and the big horses. She remembered that Liang was a very important leader. He belonged in a giant castle with a king. She was just a clumsy girl who made sleepy tea and tripped over rocks. The sweet spark from the campfire felt very far away now. Liang turned around to look at her. He reached out and gently lifted the big, heavy bag off her small shoulders. He set it down softly by the door of her shop. Thank you, Mei, he said. His voice was not loud or strict anymore. It was very quiet. Thank you for showing me the way. And thank you for fixing the magic potion. Mei looked down at her dusty shoes. She tried very hard to smile so she would not cry. You are welcome, General Liang. Have a safe trip back to the big city. She did not know what else to say. Liang just stood there for a long moment. He looked like he wanted to say something else, but his guards were watching him closely. He finally turned away, his heavy boots making loud crunching sounds on the dirt. He walked over to his big black horse and climbed up into the seat. Bao the duck waddled over to the horse's legs. He looked up at the general and gave a soft, confused quack. Bao seemed to wonder where his fancy red silk blanket was. "Goodbye, Bao," Liang said softly, giving the silly bird a tiny nod. The general pulled the leather ropes, and the big horse started to walk forward. The army of guards followed him. Mei stood by the door of her shop and watched him go. Her heart hurt very much. As he rode away down the dirt road, General Liang stopped. He turned his head and looked back at her. A moment later, as the horse started to walk a little faster, he turned to look at her a second time. Finally, right before the road curved and he would disappear behind the trees, he turned around and looked at her a third time. Then he was gone. Mei went inside her little shop, sat in her quiet chair, and cried a very small, sad tear. Chapter 9, The Promise. Mei sat in her quiet shop. The village was very still. She could hear the slow clop, clop, clop of the horse's feet walking far away down the dirt road. She wiped a small tear from her cheek. She knew she needed to get back to work. Sitting around and being sad would not fix anything. She grabbed her old wooden broom to sweep the floor. Of course, she was not watching her feet. She tripped right over the broom handle and bumped her knee against a table. She sighed, sitting on the floor to rub her sore knee. But then she heard something outside. The sound of the horses had changed. The slow clop clop was gone. Now there was a fast, loud thumping sound. It sounded like thunder hitting the dirt. And it was coming closer, not going away. Mei stood up quickly and ran to her open window. Down the dirt road, the big black horse was running back toward the village as fast as the wind. It was General Liang. His dark coat was flying behind him. Behind him, his 10 guards were trying to catch up, yelling in total confusion. They did not understand why their leader was riding back the wrong way. The general did not slow down until he was right in front of Mei's little shop. He pulled the leather ropes hard. The black horse stopped, stomping its big feet and blowing air from its nose. A big cloud of brown dust filled the air. Liang did not even wait to climb down nicely. He jumped right off the side of the tall horse. His heavy boots hit the dirt with a loud, heavy thud. He walked straight through the open door of the medicine shop. He did not look grumpy. He did not look angry. He looked very sure, like a man who knew exactly what he wanted. Mei dropped her wooden broom. It made a loud clatter on the floor, but neither of them cared. General Liang walked right up to her. He did not care that his shiny guards were watching through the window. He reached out with both of his big, warm hands and gently took Mei's small hands in his. His hands felt so strong and safe. He looked down into her bright eyes. His dark eyes were soft and full of that real, sweet spark they had found by the mountain fire. "Mei," he said, his deep voice a little breathless from the fast ride. "I cannot just ride away. I do not want to go back to my big city and just be grumpy all the time." Mei's heart beat so fast it felt like a tiny bird trapped inside her chest. "You don't?" she whispered. "No," Liang said. He smiled his warm, handsome smile. He looked right at her and said the words that made her heart sing. "I am interested in getting to know you. Will you wait for me?" Mei blinked, feeling a happy tear slide down her rosy cheek. Liang squeezed her small hands gently. "I have to go back to the city to finish my guard work," he explained softly. "I need 3 months to get everything ready. But I will come back. I want to know all your funny stories. I want to catch you every single time you trip over a rock. Will you be mine forever?" Mei did not even have to think about it for 1 second. The magic pink root could never make a love this good. She smiled her biggest, brightest smile. "Yes," she said happily. "I will wait for you. And I will gladly be yours forever." Liang's smile grew even bigger. He bent down and pressed a soft, warm kiss to the back of her hands. Outside the window, Bao the duck waddled by and gave a very loud, happy quack. Chapter 10. The Long Wait. The days after General Liang left felt very long and very slow. Mei went back to her normal life. She woke up early, swept her floor, trying very hard not to trip over the broom again, and opened her little medicine shop. She fixed a scraped knee for a little boy who fell out of a tree. She mixed a nice hot tea for the village baker who had a sick tummy. She did a very good job taking care of everyone. But her shop felt too quiet without the general's deep voice and heavy footsteps. 1 whole month went by. Mei missed him very much. Sometimes, when she reached for a heavy clay jar on the top shelf, it would slip right out of her fingers. The jar would fall to the floor and crash into tiny pieces. Mei would sit on the ground, look at the mess, and sigh. She wished Liang was there to reach out with his quick, strong hands and catch the jar for her. 2 months went by. The weather started to get warmer, and the green leaves on the trees grew thick. Bao the fat white duck was very bored. He waddled around the dirt road in front of the shop, looking for people. But the village people only wore soft cloth shoes. Bao did not want to bite soft cloth shoes. He wanted to bite thick, shiny black leather boots. He sat by the front door every afternoon and let out sad, quiet little quacks. "I know, Bao," May would tell him gently, petting his soft white feathers. "I miss his shiny boots too." As the end of the 3rd month got closer, May started to feel a tiny bit worried in her heart. What if the general forgot about his promise? He was a very important man in the big city. He had to talk to the king and lead the whole royal army. What if he decided that a clumsy village girl and her messy, loud duck were not right for him after all? On the very last day of the 3rd month, May woke up extra early. She put on her favorite yellow dress. She brushed her hair until it was soft and pretty. She sat in her chair by the open window and watched the dirt road all morning. She waited all afternoon. But the dirt road was empty. No big black horse came running. Nos chaini garzjel. The sun started to go down, painting the sky dark blue. May felt a heavy, cold sadness in her chest. She walked over to the door to close the shop for the night. She looked down at Bao, who was sleeping in the dirt. "Maybe he just got busy," she whispered to the sleeping bird. But she felt a small, hot tear slide down her cheek. She slowly reached out to pull the heavy wooden door shut. It seemed like her real true love story was over before it even started. Chapter 11, Sweet Dates. May's hand was on the heavy wooden door. Just before she pulled it totally shut, she heard a soft sound in the quiet evening air. Galip, glop, galip, glop. It was not a loud group of heavy army horses. It was just one horse walking slowly down the dirt road. May peeked her head outside. A tall man was tying a big black horse to the wooden fence near her shop. When he turned around, May gasped out loud. It was General Liang. He did not look like the grumpy leader of the royal guard anymore. He was not wearing his heavy metal armor. He was not wearing his scary, sharp sword. Instead, he was wearing a soft, dark blue silk shirt and comfortable cloth pants. He looked very handsome, and he was smiling the biggest, warmest smile May had ever seen. May let go of the door and ran outside. She was so excited and happy that she did not look at her feet at all. Her shoe caught the edge of the wooden porch step, and she went flying forward. Whoosh! Strong, warm arms caught her right before she hit the dusty ground. Liang held her tight and spun her around, laughing his deep, wonderful laugh. "I told you I would always catch you, my clumsy girl," he said softly, looking down into her bright eyes. May hugged him around his middle. "You came back. I thought you forgot about me." Liang kissed the top of her head. "I could never forget you. It took me all day to ride here because I brought a wagon full of nice things. But I am here now, and I have all the time in the world for you." For the next 2 weeks, Liang stayed in the small village, taking May on the sweetest dates. They did not need any magic potions to have fun. Every morning, they walked down to the edge of the fast blue river. Liang held her hand the whole way so she would not slip on the wet rocks. They sat on the soft green grass and talked for hours. May told him more funny stories, and Liang told her about his life in the big city. In the afternoons, they walked through the busy village market. Liang bought her warm, sweet sugar buns straight from the oven. They shared the sticky buns, and Liang laughed out loud when May got white powdered sugar all over her nose. He gently wiped it away with his thumb, his eyes full of pure love. The village people could hardly believe what they were seeing. Was this really the same grumpy general? He smiled all the time. He laughed at May's silly jokes. He even helped the village baker carry heavy bags of flour. The people in the village decided they really liked this happy, friendly Liang. Even Bao the duck was very happy. Liang did not wear his shiny army boots on his dates, but he brought a special, shiny leather shoe from the city just for the duck to play with. Bao sat under the wooden tables during their market dates, happily chewing on the shoe and giving soft little quacks. May felt like she was floating on a soft cloud. The 3 long months of waiting were hard, but they were completely worth it. The magic pink root had started a very crazy mess, but it had led her straight to the best, real love she could ever ask for. Chapter 12. The Wedding. The village was buzzing with excitement. It was the day of the biggest wedding the small town had ever seen. Everyone was helping. The baker made a giant cake with sweet yellow frosting. The children hung bright red paper lanterns from every tree branch. The whole village smelled like sweet flowers and fresh, warm food. May stood inside her little shop. She was wearing a beautiful, bright red wedding dress made of soft silk. Her hair was pinned up with pretty gold flowers. She felt a little nervous, but mostly, she felt incredibly happy. Outside, General Liang was waiting for her in the center of the village. He was also wearing handsome, bright red clothes. He looked taller and stronger than ever. Standing next to him were his 10 royal guards. They had ridden all the way from the big city just to see their boss get married. The guards stood in a straight line, looking very confused. They kept whispering to each other. "Look at his face," one guard whispered, pointing secretly. "What is wrong with his mouth? It is bending up at the sides." "I think it is called a smile," another guard said, his eyes wide in shock. "I have never seen him do that before. He looks so happy," the first guard said. This village girl must be truly magical to make the grumpy general smile like that. May walked out of her shop. When Liang saw her, his big smile grew even wider. He walked right up to her and took her hands. He did not care that the whole village and all his shiny guards were watching. "You look beautiful, my clumsy girl," he said softly. They stood in front of the village boss and promised to love each other forever. They promised to share all their sweet buns and to always hold hands when walking near fast rivers or tripping over flat dirt. When the boss said they were officially husband and wife, Liang leaned down and gave May a very sweet, warm kiss. The whole village cheered very loudly. Even the confused guards clapped and smiled, happy to see their leader so full of joy. The music started, and they ate cake and danced under the red lanterns all night long. The next morning, it was time to leave. A big wooden wagon was waiting outside the shop. May was packing up her heavy medicine pots and brown roots to take to her new home. She picked up a large, wobbly stack of clay bowls. She took one step toward the door, tripped over the edge of the floor rug, and the bowls flew into the air. But Liang was right there. He reached out with his quick, strong hands and caught the stack of bowls before they could hit the floor. He set them safely in the wagon and kissed May's pink cheek. "I will always catch you," he promised with a laugh. General Liang was wearing his heavy, shiny black army boots today, because they had a long ride back to the city. Bao the duck was sitting in the dirt, watching them pack. When he saw the shiny boots, his little dark eyes lit up. He waddled over as fast as his flat orange feet could carry him. Chomp! Bao bit the shiny leather boot as hard as he could. The guards gasped, waiting for the general to yell at the loud, dirty bird. But Liang just looked down and laughed his deep, rumbling laugh. He reached down and scooped the fat white duck right up into his arms. "Come on, my fluffy prince," Liang smiled, gently petting the duck's soft head. "It is time to go to your new royal pond in the city." May climbed into the wagon next to her handsome husband. He held the fat duck in one arm and wrapped his other strong arm tightly around May. As the horses started to pull them down the dirt road toward their happy new life, May knew she would never need a magic pink root ever again. Epilogue. 2 years had passed since the big, loud wedding in the small village. May and General Liang now lived in a very large, beautiful house right in the middle of the big city. During the day, General Liang put on his shiny metal armor and his sharp sword. He stood very tall and used his loud, strict voice to lead the royal army. All the new guards thought he was the most serious, grumpy man in the whole world. They were very scared of his dark frown. But every evening, when the sun went down, the heavy wooden doors of his house would open. The general would step inside, take off his heavy armor, and completely change. His dark frown would melt away into a giant, warm smile the second he saw his wife. May had her very own medicine room in the big house. It was full of green leaves, brown roots, and tall wooden shelves. She still made sweet tea and fixed scraped knees for the people in the city. And of course, she was still very, very clumsy. Just yesterday, she had tried to carry 3 buckets of fresh water across the smooth stone floor. She slipped on a tiny wet spot and went flying backward. But she did not hit the floor, and the water did not splash. Her handsome husband had been standing right behind her, just like always. Liang caught her with one strong arm and grabbed the buckets with his other hand, laughing his deep, wonderful laugh. "I have you," he had whispered, kissing her nose. Their house also had a beautiful green garden in the back. In the very center of the soft grass was a deep, clear pond built just for Bao. The fat white duck lived like a true king. He swam in the cool water all day and ate fresh green peas. He never got that giant fish cake wedding, but he was definitely the happiest bird in the city. One quiet afternoon, May and Liang were sitting on a wooden bench near the pond, sharing a warm sugar bun. Liang was wearing his heavy, shiny black boots. Suddenly, Bao waddled out of the water. He shook his wet white feathers, marched right up to the bench, and gave a loud, demanding quack. Then chomp. He bit the toe of the general's shiny boot as hard as he could. Liang did not yell. He just smiled, picked up the wet duck, and set him gently on his lap. "You are lucky I love your mother so much, my fluffy prince," Liang chuckled, petting the duck's head. Mei rested her head on her husband's strong shoulder. She watched her loud duck and her smiling general, feeling perfectly, completely happy. She never needed a magic pink route to find true love. All she needed was a bumpy mountain road, a sweet campfire spark, and a very good man to catch her every time she falls.